Dear friends, I would like to talk to our online participants how to make sure you don't miss all the interesting things. You have this tab live where we have streams of our business program, and we have several tracks in parallel: global track, industry track, investment track, and masterclass track. You need to remember that partners also have their events. You can watch them. You can find them in a separate tab. You can find links in the description. In the program tab, over 100 interactive virtual sessions about tech trends, developing, shaping of new markets, transforming business models, and integration of innovative technologies into business programs. In each one of them, you can interact with the speakers and other participants in real time. And here's what you need to do. You should be registered or authorized as a user, and after that, you can evaluate every presentation or any session. And also you can see activities of other participants of our conference. You can ask questions to the speakers, put them through using the button, but you should be an authorized user to be able to do that. Now let's go back to our business program. We can remotely track activities of your furry pet, your furry friend. You can improve their health, balance their diet, or simply track their condition. If needed, you can provide aid. AI technologies, intellectual devices, food and treats, personalized vet services, early diagnostics of diseases, modern pharmaceuticals, they become a norm for today's world. During the session, we will discuss key innovative trends in this ecosystem for pets with our speakers. So the next session is called Sputnik Pet, 4 innovative paws. Hello, dear guests. Welcome to Startup Village 2021. I'm very proud that I was entrusted with this unique session on pets. This session is called Sputnik Pet. So while spaceships are out there in the universe, but we help our pets here being on Earth. We have 4 presenters today. I would like to introduce the first one, Alena Baikova, head of medical department of Vet Hospital, one of the largest innovative veterinary clinics in Russia. She's a veterinary anesthesiologist, so she'll be talking about new hospitals for pets and innovations. Let's start her presentation first. I represent Skolkovo Vet Hospital, which is a veterinary hospital It's not only about treating pets, but we also are involved in scientific activities and education. So we help those who help you, because pets have become for people not a necessity. They become their family members and friends, and for national help, people sometimes turn to their pets, not their friends, because they're always there and they're there to understand you. We have a large building of 200 square meters with a full cycle. We use modern knowledge of our colleagues from Russia and abroad. We have state-of-the-art veterinary equipment. Unfortunately, in our country, pet equipment is human equipment still, because pets are fairly small and they're fairly compact. So we don't use any things like homeopathy. It's only data-based medicine that we use. So this is not only to make your lives longer and happier if you have a dog or a hamster. So, but sometimes we get wrong ideas. So like a cat died of age when she was when it was 10, but which is kind of strange. People may have this idea, but 10 years is not an old age for a cat. It's as if somebody said that I died at the age of 34 of old age. We have special areas, waiting areas for dogs, for cats, and for people, separate waiting areas. So that way cats and dogs are separated for security purposes, among others. We have separate departments for cats, pheromones, calming toys. We have special playgrounds for cats. So we have a doctor, a veterinary doctor. Her name is Ksenia. So she's there with her filling out medical records for that cat. So when we organized that project, we had a great idea to implement. We wanted not just to treat the pets, but we wanted to change the attitude towards pets and veterinary. So if a cat falls from a height, some people say, oh, it's gonna fix its own problem, it's gonna take care of itself, but that's not the way it's supposed to be. We have a full cycle in our hospital, from diagnostics to surgery and rehabilitation. We also have a scientific center that studies serious problems, and we also publish scientific research work. So we would like to take it to a whole new level to make sure our domestic veterinary is up to the level. So when you travel internationally, people may not be aware of what is done here. So we're not just a hospital, but we want to make sure that the owners and patients will be as comfortable as possible. And of course, it should be comfortable and convenient for the doctors. So our reception area is very nice. You can sit there, they will give you tea and coffee, but what happens inside, you may not be aware of that. So maybe there are some cages inside and it looks kind of scary, but we are very open. We are an open organization. We have open door days for any visitors and students. So we showcase those things, we let them see. So besides those things, we all organizers, we the management team of the hospital, we are all veterinaries with some good background of track record of working in other clinics. And our boss, normally they go crazy, so because when people become rich, they kind of go crazy. So we decided one person cannot manage such a large organization, so we have a board of directors. So yeah, we have chief doctor, or we have scientific director, Anastasia, and she attracts sponsors for scientific research, and also have operational director who deals with finances, with wages and all those things. But nobody has the right of veto, and nobody takes a decision, makes decisions on their own, which is good because we all have our own perspectives on life, on management, so we cannot fire or hire on our own. We do it collectively. So which is a great picture of a great dog. We have a wonderful story. So this dog joined us on the day of our opening and stayed with us. It lives with us. So if you want to learn more about us, we're open. We'll tell you about that, and we want our patients to feel comfortable, not to be afraid of anything, not to be afraid of treatment, of treating their pets. It is safe and it's not scary at all. And here's a video that we filmed when we opened. So my dog Sheldon is highlighted there. It's a very nice, beautiful dog. So that showcases our openness, and you can see our rooms. So thank you very much for that. So let's watch this video. So let's run it. Thank you very much, Aliona. If all the clinics in Russia, or even 1/10 of them, were just like that, I think health problems of pets would not exist. And thank you very much for that. I introduce our second presenter. So I'm also a presenter and a moderator. My name is Konstantin Perepechaev. I'm a practicing veterinary doctor. I'll be talking about video diagnostic system in telemedicine. Video diagnostic systems for veterinary biology and telemedicine. So the idea to equip video cameras, install video cameras, is not a new one. Many companies place it there. Not only large companies do that around the world, but practicing doctors use aluminum sticks, etc., to create the system to capture that diagnostic image. There are some problems, though, especially when you work with animals. If it's stationary equipment, so video capturing is a problem. Normally it's kind of bulky. We talk about portable equipment. It's oftentimes it's not as portable as we would like it to be. And we should not think that inspecting patients is problematic, is applicable only to pets. If you have a child which is very active, it's the same thing. But in veterinary, we treat very different patients. So if you have a bison, what kind of equipment do you use? Or if you have a large snake, or if you need to study the eyes of a chameleon, or a small monkey, or of a scared horse, So you'll be facing some technical problems. So can you create an ideal device that combines all the best things? So we've been working on this idea since 2008, and we can say yes, you can create such a device. So we have two video diagnostic systems, video start and video special up to that. So let's start a video on this.
VD Start.
So video start, video diagnostic digital system was developed as ophthalmological device. It is used in ophthalmology for digital imaging of an eye. So via computer can be projected to any screen, and we can, by focusing, we can get high quality image with high resolution. From whatever is needed. We can regulate the intensity of light focusing and check different structures of the eye. So to check the retina, which is not so simple with animals. So we get a high quality image on the monitor, which can be viewed by the doctor and also is accessible to the owner. So the owner may be aware of what's taking place. It can be also connected to a laptop. It can be put on a large screen. So magnification is a 50-fold, which is a lot. It also can be magnified by a large monitor. So we have a portable system. They can do much more than most of the systems. They can do much more than a microscope, surgical microscope. So there is a demand for this device in stomatology and dental services, because you can put on a monitor, you can show the state or the conditions of the teeth, which is also very safe for a pet. So because we're not touching anything, no stress, and nothing. This system can also be used by dentists under anesthetics. So, and treatment method can be selected as a result. So this device can be also used in oncology and dermatology for inspecting tissues, various tissues of a dog. You can inspect paws, the quality of fur, the nails, or skin problems, which is important for dermatologists. And the owner can observe those actions and see that everything is done properly and honestly. In oncology, what is important is this distance microscopy to identify the type of a tumor, and also healing process can be monitored. And once again, the owner can see with their own eyes that the recovery is taking place. It's true. So we also tested those devices for zoology and biology, which is not veterinary. It's something else. But when you study small insects or animals, snails, for example, or frogs. So, but if you want to identify them as a species, so we can do that. So we can do that. So we can see what they look like and identify their species. So second system, VDM Special, which is an ophthalmological device of for narrow use. Initially, it was meant for get the picture from the inside of the eye with all the details, to get the retina picture and other things. So we can do multiple functional studies, which is, for example, here we conduct a special study of the eye. Normally it's done under anesthetics, but it's not required in this case. So 50 times of magnifications help you to see all the details and miss out on anything, not to miss out anything. The system can also be connected to a laptop, to a portable computer. You can put the picture on the screen and to show to the owner what is really taking place with the pet.
Of course, ophthalmological studies can be shown in the picture, what has been, what is now. And we can see those things in a very big details. The doctors actually liked our equipment because we tested it on the rabbits, and the operation is a very big problem in the field of rabbits. And of course, we can take a regular rabbit and we can get a very good quality picture. Horse is something big and beautiful and physically powerful, and you cannot approach it very simply. Horses are very positive with our systems. We have portable systems, and due to its size, the horse is not scared. We can see a big picture, and the doctor doesn't have to take too much effort to work with it. We are not contacting the horse directly. The horse is not scared because the light is not that bright, and this is very comfortable both for the animal and for the doctors. We have been doing clinical surveys and research which covered more than 40 animals. We have been in several cities of Russia, and we tried to take a look at animals which are rather hard to look at, especially those who are almost impossible to work with. We looked at the parrots, big ones. We worked with one of the primates, a very aggressive chimpanzees. I'm not sure whether they are close to us in spirit, but anyhow, their eyes are different from the humans. Of course, we tried to look at bears, and the sweet milk is actually something which allowed us to do this. As soon as we ran out of the sweet milk, so the study has been over. We worked with goats as well, and the picture was simply incredible. So we can see this very beautiful picture. So, and actually the goats are beautiful both on the outside and on the inside actually. And we have been working with Vernadsky circus over there. We have been working with exotic pets as well. You cannot even take them in your hands. It's rather scary. For example, this is one of the lizards. So with this wonderful, beautiful picture in the eyes. So this is another animal which doesn't allow to touch it. And due to this contactless study, we can actually look at armadillo as well. Of course, we have been working with snakes as well. So this is 5 meters snake. We can see small picture, and we can see it's a very big one, and you can see everything. So we have been working with a chameleon. So actually, he's changing the color. So when we drew our tool closer to him, we worked with small chimpanzees and monkeys, and actually they are working with their hands and just like with their legs. So, and actually this one actually took the tool with its leg, and it just pulled their tool out of my hands. So this is alpaca, a very beautiful animal. We can see a very special type of eye here. So this was the clinical research of the products, and it gives actually great information about how the eyes are constructed and the functions of the eyes as well. And we started another animal which was accused of being the reason for COVID-19. So this is one of the bats, so one of the huge ones, and it was very important for us to make sure that the light load of this tool is not actually hurting the night animals as well. So this bat actually was okay with our manipulations, and after that it just went back to its home without any problems. This is all about the veterinary studies, but we have very interesting perspective fields. This is video diagnostics and telemedicine. It is very useful to configure this tool. We are regulating the distance to the patient, we are regulating the zoom, and we can look at it in a big monitor, and we can record the picture. So, this is not a big problem anyhow. And we also can record this picture and we can transfer it. We can have an online expert who can work with us during the diagnostics. We can use it for studies. We can transfer the data to the medical center using our equipment. We get telemedicine, which is rather simple and which can be performed by anybody, even by a qualified operator. A person who is simply recording this image can be located in some military facility, on polar station, or even in space. They just record the picture, they send the picture to the medical center, they get the consultation from the online specialist, and then we receive the treatment. I think it's very important. We only started to use these possibilities, to use these video systems. I'm pretty sure that future lies ahead with the usage of these technologies. I'm really grateful to Skolko for this chance to be in front of you and to speak to you. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much. And right now we give floor to Mikhail Zhuravlev, Vice Director on Technical Issues of Zooprotein Company. Zooprotein, usage of insects. So the flies which you saw in the videos actually might be very useful to us, and let's listen to Mikhail about that. Good day, dear colleagues. As we spoke, we'll speak about insects. Our company is implementing and introducing the insects to the animal food. We are basically recycling the organic wastes in order to get the protein for the larvae of the flies. I will speak about the trends of pet food. So, and why the insects are one of the trends which is going to be seen in the nearest future, and our animals are going to face these in their food. The world tendency is to decline meat. By 2100, the population of Earth is going to be almost doubled, and we are sure that agricultural technologies won't be able to provide for animals and for people with quality meat. Somebody is going to have to stop eating meat, either fully or partially. So we believe that humans have to do that later than the animals. That is why animals will do that earlier. Meat has to be replaced by something, and it has to be equivalent. And one of the possible options, and a rather good one, is basically the insects which are used for food. What are the advantages of the insect protein? First of all, we're talking about high consistency of protein. It's rather helpful and useful for animals because we're talking about prebiotic and material components which can be functional and instrumental to the pet food. Also, the insects are the natural ratio of the animals, for example, cats as well. That is why it's not going to be hurtful. Also, we're talking about eco-friendliness. We're talking about the reduction of methane emissions and CO2 emissions because insects produce less of these gases. The insects are not consuming the helpful resources and the products which could be eaten by an animal or a human being. So basically they are recycling the wastes, things which are not going into the food of both of human and animals. So in a way, some products are not needed by the human beings, and we are returning those into the production cycle. We are also reducing the logistics chains of deliveries because the insects are capable of recycling many types of wastes, and they can be localized by the plants which are creating the wastes. If we're talking about the ecological advantages, the environmental footprint is less from an insect than compared to the cows. They require 500 times water, 12 times food, and 10 times less ground compared to the cows. If we compare them to beef, once again, 100 kilograms of biomass gives more protein, which can be provided both to a human being and to the animals. And the insects are instrumental to sustainable development program, and we are becoming more environmentally friendly in the global scale. Pet food has already reacted to this appearance of insects in the market, and Nestle, Purina, Mars, and Mero companies have already started to produce the products which contain insects as the main component. They provide for protein here and now, and we can see that the future is already here, but the market for the insects is going to grow only due to three groups of advantages. First of all, the insect protein is hypoallergic. Almost no allergies for that. That is why we can say that there will be no food allergy, and the animals which have very sensible bodies, so this could be a great advantage for those. Secondly, it's a natural treat, a chance to give the animal something new, and the insects can actually be instrumental in that. And it's a very easy way for a consumer, for the human being who buys these pet food, to get the animals acquainted with their new food consisting of insects. Third, these are the natural pet foods. So the more natural it is, so the better it is for the animals, and it's much closer to the nature than it could be. If we're talking about the pet food market, its production during the nearest dozen of years is going to increase by 1,500%, and this is a requirement which is calculated here and now. Basically, the market of the pet food with the insects is the most fast-growing tendency, both for the human food and the pet food in the world practice. The main factors of this growth are the growing premium factor of the food and the tendency to humanization, vegetarianity and so on, hyperallergic characteristics and environmental advantages. The insects are safer for the environment than the regular agricultural animal. This growth of the amount of insects can be seen in the premium segment, first of all. In some time period, this premium segment is going to consist of insects mostly. So they are capturing this market, and the premium foods are increasing their presence in the market. Russia has shown a great experience in this and great advantages. Misma, Landor, Limcorm and Sirius are implementing this in the premium foods. We're talking about the Landor and Sirius trademarks. Russian producers will be able to provide the market with the new types of food. Thank you very much for your attention. I really hope that this information was useful, and if you have any questions, we will be glad to answer those both on the phone and using the emails, and we really hope that these products are going to reach the markets as soon as possible. Thank you very much, Mikhail. Actually, the future doesn't seem so strange after your speech, so if we have to, we will eat insects, why not? Of course, any project demands finances, although it's very boring to count those, but only those who are able to count money, and those who are capable of investing are going to help us in implementing our wishes and making them come true. I introduce Andrei Slipchenko from our Food Invest. Good day, dear colleagues. Once again, we had very interesting speeches. I learned many interesting things, and I can see where the vet art goes to. and actually we can see great scientific capabilities. We ourselves are representing our Food Invest. This is a daughter company of Uralchim, which is rather strange because Uralchim is a classic business which creates mineral fertilizers. But today we touched upon the macro trends which are developing in the field of food and agriculture, and they are pushing new capabilities into the old markets, and they are changing the classic business, such as production of mineral fertilizers. I would like to build upon the topic which was discussed by our previous speaker. I would like to look at it from a different angle, how the investors look at it and see it, and how they treat this whole topic, and how they understand whether some money can be earned there or not. I would like to say a couple of words about macro trends. We can see them divided into three parts. First is the change of the climate, which drives all the other trends, including the one which is discussed a lot, the CO2 emissions and monetization of CO2 emissions and what is built up around it. Another thing is the change of the generations of the people. We can see millennials, we can see Z generation, and everybody treats and sees the world differently, and the consumption model is different among all of them, and it gives great opportunities for the business. And the third part is technologies. Digitalization, additive technologies, which allow to reduce the time to market and to increase the commercialization of the products. Mikhail has already spoken about the meat, that we will have scarcity of the meat very soon. But honestly, I'm thinking about this in a different way. How would we feel that we have a scarcity of protein? Maybe in Russia it's not felt that way, but somewhere in the world people are eating only a cup of rice for lunch, but they anyhow are not located in Russia. To speak about the development of the alternative proteins, I would like to say that insects is one of the branches, one of the ways to solve this problem. However, everything is divided into different demands and requirements. People can use the alternative protein, so for example we can see Beyond Meat burgers, and there are analogs and references in various stores and in various restaurants. And another field is cultivated meat, the so-called cell meat, which is grown from cells. And this is not going to be created by the companies which are producing meat only. This is going to be a whole industry. Some people are going to take care of the environment for growing such meat, some people are going to grow the meat, and people are going to build the scaffolds, the so-called scaffolds, which are the foundations for these tissues. And another topic is the food protein with various alternatives. We can see the microbe protein, which can be based on bacteria, or they can be created on the basis of barn. So, and of course, different resources can be used, mineral resources such as natural gas. These technologies are being piloted here and now, and in the nearest future, the commercialization is going to be inevitable. The insects are prominent because they have various advantages, especially for the pets, because the insects are a natural food for animals. I have seen my cat or a dog hunting various insects, and they are catching the insects, they are pulling the worms out of the ground, and they're catching flies and so on. This is a psychological factor which actually helps us to develop this usage of the products. What has been said by Mikhail, why this topic is being commercialized, the advantages which we can see there, is that we can already buy these products, and out of things which have been listed, CO2 footprint is much smaller compared to the traditional components, meat and flour in the food. Things are growing in an evolutionary matter, and of course the pioneers, the global players, the global companies which are represented in different regions are obvious, but we can already see that even the two biggest players, Nestle and Mars, have already announced that they're creating special lines of products with such protein. What is Nestle and what is Mars? We can see the numbers here and now. This is about half of the global market of the food at all. So we try to digitize this potential. What could be the scale of the development of this market? We try to model the amount of this components in the recipes, and we saw that the experts are showing several millions of tons, million and even more than million. So the potential is great, and we still have place to grow.
Just a few words about technologies. This is what they look like in the future, and this is what modern plants to produce insects look like. And when you cannot even tell that everything is technological and automated. Four majors in the world that already reach those industrial scales, and they can negotiate with consolidated players who produce feed or pet food. Just a little bit more about investments, because we as investors think about it and we have our own criteria. We should be in that business to make sure it's a safe investment and profitable investment for us. So this technology is close to being profitable. So, but we look forward in 5 or 10 years. We model and to see how productivity can be improved. When business is scaled up, it's an important thing. We did a study in Russia, and we saw that there's some advantages here. For some parameters. So scaling up, scalability, not of a single plant, but if you scale up that geographically, if you can expand to other regions for major businesses and strategic investors, it is very important. Also competencies, because we are not specialized investor per se, so we needed partners with competencies in pet food and also in proteins. So if we take a step back, another dilemma that was faced, alternative proteins, especially from insects. They can be used not only for pets, but they can be used for people as well, and for productive animals. So we looked at those two segments, and we focused on pet food, because it can be used as a food ingredient as well. And many startups work on that, and even they use insect protein for burgers. So, but you can use peas for burger production. So it's better. So steak made from insects sound weird for a European civilization. For ourselves, it's overdone. It's too much. Then we looked at other possible options. And I like this project because anyone can be involved with it. You can find some books and you can find the information, and in your garage you can start growing insects and learn how to process them. So it is also interesting that the entrance ticket is fairly small. It mostly depends on the qualities and ambitions of a startup. And we were thinking, why not? We can start from scratch, but why? If the wheel has been invented, why do you want to reinvent it? So when we realized there are over 300 or even almost 500 startups in this area, competition is very strong, and it's very difficult to make it to strong startups. So we came to the third idea: we can acquire technologies, which is quite interesting. Initially, we had that picture. Acquiring a technology was next to impossible, it was costly. But when we looked deeper into that and started talking with experts, we realized how we should do it, how we can develop a potential production if using acquired technologies. And we understand that we need to have a team, we need to have partners to advance and move forward with those technologies. So we decided that having partnerships is the way to go with those who have experience in pet food and also who have experience in sales, how they will be able to do sales and be operationally effective. So you don't have to develop those technologies, but you should have necessary understanding, and you need to have technological personnel in place, because not anyone can develop those things. So this is how we defined a partner profile. And so we are now in the process of selecting a company with whom we'll work. Thank you very much for that, Andrei. So finances play a definitive role. So I want to thank Skalkova for bringing different people here, those who work with pets, those who work with pet food. Hopefully that was interesting. Thank you, and we'll see you later.
Жажда веселья, жажда путешествий, жажда общения. Утоляй любую жажду с освежающими вкусами Липтон. Мой любимый персик.
При низких температурах окружающей среды тела быстро теряют энергию. Но нахождение вблизи источника тепла позволяет телу получать тепловое излучение. Происходит самопроизвольное перераспределение тепла. Следовательно, когда источники тепла находятся вместе, их энергия побеждает холод. Лучшее создается вместе. Газпромбанк.
МТС Стартап Хаб. Работа с реальным бизнес-заказчиком МТС. Доступ к ресурсам самого крупного телеком-бренда в России. Не можешь поверить? А в твой стартап обязательно поверят. У нас есть все, что тебе понадобится. Ресурсы, клиенты, технологии, каналы продаж. Мы оценим твой продукт, правильно применим в своем бизнесе и масштабируем на мировой рынок. МТС Стартап Хаб ждет тебя и твоих нереальных бизнес-идей.